Good afternoon. This is Black Spring with Autumn on your Monday again. And as I promised, I have returned and we will get into BBB. BBB. All right, let's see what happens. All right, once again, thank you so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn on your Monday, June 30th. So, yes, as I promised earlier, I have decided to take some time to come back to you with some of the bill or the legislative proposal or the geez, this thing has more nicknames and than anything I can imagine right about now, or it's been recoined so many times. But we're gonna listen. This is gonna be more than a. This is gonna be a bit of a scan. We should call it a scan. Is what we're actually gonna do. So hope you guys are doing well out there, and thanks for coming back. And thank you guys so much for those of you that were able to tune in earlier today. All right, so what I want to do is I want to get into this because I may open up the pendulum, and let me just say if I open this pendulum up, I want to try to stay on. Let's just try to stay on track there a bit because I just really want to deal with what I'm seeing here, and as per usual, they could pour over this thing. This could go on for a long time, and from what I've seen, what is it? The last time I checked, they were amendments. They were reviewing, debating amendments. I mean, at least that's the last time I checked. Okay, so it's who knows. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Thank you so much again for tuning in. So let's have it. I'm going to share with you so you can see what we're doing. Let's see. Once again, hope you guys are doing well out there. And I don't know what the weather's like in your area, but if you are, hopefully you are staying safe from whatever the storm that may be in your neck of the woods, or if it's approaching your neck of the woods. Hopefully you are. Hopefully you're able to do that. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a screen. Let's see. I've opened this. I'm double fisting programs. Good afternoon, Derek C. Williams. So nice to see you. Nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well out there. And Derek comes in and he says, "Respect due to Black Spring with Autumn, listening to you live on the AirTube from Philadelphia, the alleged birthplace of freedom. Off today, no tax on overtime. That's all I need." There you go. Good afternoon, Derek C. Williams. Derek says he read it, and an AI section is in this bill. If true, all AI should be strictly controlled. Okay, guys. Well, honestly, we could do this is kind of one of those over coffee kind of streams. The content, you're not gonna. It may not be riveting and exciting by any stretch, but we're going to have a look at it anyway. Okay, so let's just go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and open this up right now. I have set something up for you, and I'm just going to share it from the screen. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Derek C. Williams and Marcy T. I will probably put the link out just for a little bit because there's, deep diving these things. There's a lot to be desired, of course. It's been like the most of the time it's reversed the last, how these things go. So let's go with. One second here. I just want to present this kind of on a live. Okay, I'm going to back it up just a second. Once again, hope you guys are doing well out here. So let's do this. Sometimes these programs don't like to quite talk to each other. You know, they do, but they don't. They will, but, you know, sometimes it's not the best thing. All right, so we're just going to look at this on full screen. So as promised, hope you guys can see this. Okay, hope you can see this on your screen. All right, so here, one big, beautiful bill, Act HR 1. You know, and it's, to me, I don't even know if I can say if this thing is if it was in its formative stage, but these things, they just kind of keep morphing and just keep changing and changing and changing. So I'm going to go ahead and take you. So I propose, okay, so this legislative proposal bill reduces taxes, reduces or increases spending for various federal programs, increases the statutory debt limit, and otherwise addresses agencies and programs throughout the federal government. Okay, so we're going to go to the actual site here. So hopefully by the end of this exploration, you will be able to maybe, you know, we're hopeful. And it's up to you. You will be able to evaluate how the increases and reductions in spending will affect you, your family, and your community, or whomever. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and take you over to the actual piece. Let's see. Let's read a comment or so before we go there. Thank you so much, Derek C. Williams. I'd love to get into that section. Derek says, I heard this morning he got the Congolese to stop fighting with the Rwandans and also the Indians and the Pakistanis. Stock market is soaring. What do you have to lose? You got it. All right, so let's move out of there for a second, and let's go ahead and take you guys there. So for the purpose of this stream, this is the fair use disclaimer has to come out. Okay, so for those of you that are, you know, in the business of, you know, nitpicking, and here you go, fair use. This is going to allow us this copyrighted material without requiring permission from the rights holders. So in this case, you know, this is commentary, criticism, news reporting, some teaching maybe, and scholarship. So around here, I think everyone's probably a scholar in their own right. So we're going to go with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take you to the first, on the actual screen that I was showing you before. I'm going to tell you which parts of the piece we're going to get into today, because I'm probably not going to do this whole thing because it's just a lot. It's a whole lot of it's a whole lot of going on there. So it says today we'll read and explore 3 points. I have 4 points here, but we're not going to go into Pell Grants. The energy one was the one that I may have tagged, but it says today we'll read and explore 3 points of the original HR 1, otherwise known as One Big Beautiful Bill Below. So these points are what we'll start with the 3. Subtitle A, nutrition. That's going to be the SNAP program, okay? E.g. SNAP program, SNAP Ed. The next point, subtitle A, is student eligibility. That's going to be for student loan eligibility. I need to fix that. Subtitle B, loan limits, and we're not going to touch Pell Grants. Okay, we're not going to touch Pell Grants today. So I'm just saying we'll fix that. We'll edit that, and so you know, not too much disappointment there. So let's just jump right into this. For those of, you know, if you know anyone that's, you know, dealing with any of these issues, you know, you'll decide what's relevant to you. And certainly if it's not affecting you, I'm sure it affects somebody around you. Who knows? You know how it goes. So let's go ahead and jump in here, shall we? Once again, I hope you guys are doing well out there. So I'm going to go ahead and take you to this. I want to tell you about these wonderful features. No, but this, you'd be amazed that this has that. I'm thinking that they already have an AI secretary, and she's right here in your face. She's right here in your face. When you go to congress.gov/bill/119th Congress, House/Bill 1, you will find all these lovely tools and features. And at the bottom, I talked about text to speech and all this kind of thing. They are accommodating you, America, with AI. Okay, so let's start with my first. We're going to start with the actual A, nutrition. Okay, let's just go right in here. There are some specific lines that I wanted to look at here because we're not going to read line per line. We've got, we're not staying all, we didn't pack a dinner, right? We didn't pack dinner. We didn't pack apples. We didn't do that. Okay, so we'll start with the top. Let's take it from the top. Okay, here again, my original statement came exactly from here. This bill reduces taxes, reduces or increases spending for various federal programs, increases statutory debt limit, and otherwise addresses agencies and programs throughout the federal government. All right, so of course, it also is known as a reconciliation bill. And then it talks about who's a part of the committee and all of that business. Okay, so now we're going to jump down here to subtitle A, nutrition. So the point that I'm going to go into was just a point I talked to you guys about. We spoke about this just, not really on the officially earlier, but just we're going to look at this nutrition piece starting at SEC 1004. So I'm going to scroll down here. So this is where it's going to get into SNAP. Okay, so under your nutrition, your committee, Title 1, Committee on Agriculture. Okay, this is what this is under. With all the TikTok videos that are on there with people bragging about their benefits, I thought, why the heck not? Why the heck not? Am I envious of somebody that's buying an overpriced department store, a bag at a department store, and that they're getting $3,000 a month for food stamps? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I'm just saying. Okay, so here we are. This is your SEC 10004. This section limits the availability of the Standard Utility Allowance, SUA, for determining SNAP income eligibility. And it goes into specifically only households that include an elderly or disabled member may be considered automatically eligible for the SUA based on participation in low-income home energy assistance program or similar energy assistance program. So let me get down here. This is not where I wanted to start. I think my eyes play tricks on me sometimes. So let's jump down here a bit. It's actually 12. It's 10004 through 10012. So let's start here. All right. It says here, let's start at this one right here. It says, this section eliminates the SNAP Nutrition Ed and Obesity Prevention Grant Program, SNAPT. Okay. So here it comes. Here comes the 10012. This section limits SNAP benefits to individuals who reside in the United States and are 1, U.S. citizens or U.S. nationals, 2, alien lawfully admitted for permanent residence as an immigrant, with exceptions, 3, aliens who are Cuban citizens or Cuban nationals and meet certain requirements, or 4, individuals who are lawfully residing in the United States in accordance with compacts of free association between the United States and Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, and Palau. Okay, so there you go. I don't see any resending on here per se, but let me keep going here with the SNAP here. So I'm in the SNAP zone. No, nothing, no pun intended here. Currently, SNAP eligibility extends to individuals who are classified as an alien under federal law, including an alien who has qualified for conditional entry under the asylum and refugee laws. Okay, now I don't know, we didn't get into the actual eligibility. I don't know what that means in terms of the age. And I don't know the verbiage or whatnot. I don't even know what's on a SNAP application. I don't know. So I tell you what I'm going to do. But I want to get, I'm not going to, I'll pull you guys up here in just a second. But I just want to get through a few points here. And then you guys can, have your say. Say your piece here. Okay, Derek C. Williams. Let's see. Okay, so we got that. Let's have right here. Freedom's March is here. Derek C. Williams says, you think folks would know it's fair use, but we do live in a snowflake society. Pity. There you go. There you go. All right, so that's the section. So that's going to take care of just that section. I'll give you a summation on what I think is actually, because to me, I'm going to give you what my assertion is here, or what my assertion is after I go through these. But let's keep going here. So let's go to the next section where it talks about, I think what's going to happen, it's almost to me as if it's like a subsidized, it's going to be, the state is going to have to kick in. It's going to have to start chipping in on what you're getting. Okay, so let's bump back up just a second. So this is the section I want to make sure I don't miss. So under this, so here we go, good old AI down here. If you find people don't want to read it, you can always click on, you see I have the listen button here. And of course, there's even a dictionary here, translation. You know what I mean? They're accommodating. They're accommodating people on so many levels. You know, they're just showing you all the perks and benefits of AI, right? Okay. And then down here, you can scroll, you can go forward, you can go backwards, do all of that business. Okay, so I'm going to read this. So this section reduces the amount that the USDA may pay a state agency for administrative costs for the operation of SNAP to 25% of all administrative costs from the current 50%, thereby increasing the state share of administrative costs from 50% to 75%. So to me, it says that what I'm saying is, to me, this is looking more like kind of along the lines of returning, I don't want to say returning control of certain things to the state, or returning more fees to the state. I don't know what that's going to do for other budgets. Places like California, I mean, I think they're already doing a lot of these states are already doing, especially, you know, the bookends. I'm pretty sure New York and California are already doing their own thing. So there again, to me, what's actually going to change? You know, that'll be for you to decide. You'll have to decide. That's for you to evaluate, you know, or for you to synthesize between what you know, that kind of a bit. So to me, it's almost looking a little bit like, okay, you're going to pay this, U.S. government, you're going to pay this much, we're going to pay this much. And I don't know what happens if the state falls below where they're supposed to. Does that mean you're going to, I could go, you know, I could do, we could make all kinds of, you know, we could go a little bit wild down the rabbit hole, but I just want to keep going a little bit here. I'm probably going to open this pendulum up here just a second. So, yeah, so it's these subsidies. There's more subsidies as you go along, but I'm going to take us to one other point, like back to our page. So our original page was, okay, so the student loans, I think that's another ticker for those of you, if you're not weighted, or there they say burdened with student loans, I think they're getting ready to curtail some availability to begin with. I think that's what they're getting ready to do. So let's go ahead and scroll a little bit more, because I mean, we're going to do, you know, kind of, this is a little bit more than a skim. It's a scam. We're going to call it this scam. Okay. All right. Because we're looking for very specific things here. So let's keep going here. Let's scroll it down to, I mean, like, I think this is, okay. So Title III, student eligibility. Okay, so this subtitle here, this is from Title III, Committee on Education and Workforce. This title makes various changes to higher education, particularly to the federal student loan system. Subtitle A, student eligibility. This subtitle revises eligibility for federal student aid and the amount of aid students may receive. Okay, so here it is. It goes into this section. It talks about, the section revises the citizenship categories that qualify a student for federal student aid. It talks about, here again, you know, the different nationals and individuals who are lawfully residing in the U.S. Kind of the same, it's kind of the same, the parallel to the food stamps eligibility there. All right, so let me go here. Let's go to some revocations or whatever, some terminations here that many students might be interested. That FAFSA form is probably going to keep on evolving, friends. So if you know anybody that's going to college, or you're, you know, looking for, you know, some type of assistance or whatever, or you already know what your contributions are, then here, you might clear some of that up in this document. But here, the subtitle B, loan limits. This subtitle makes various changes to federal student loans. Okay, this section 30011, this section terminates the ability of undergraduate students to receive subsidized loans and terminates the ability of graduate or professional students to receive Direct Plus loans beginning on July 1 of 2026. It provides an exception of up to 3 academic years for a student who is already enrolled in a program of study and received a loan for the program. So I guess that's kind of like, I don't know, can I call that, is that fair for me to call that kind of a grandfathering, if you will? So if you've already got that Direct Plus loan going on, then you're going to be able to deal with that for up to 3 years. So I guess, whatever that date is, I guess whatever date you got, you picked up that plus loan, 3 years from that, post that will be your eligibility on that. Okay. And this section also places certain restrictions on Parent Plus loans. In particular, parents may only borrow a Parent Plus loan if the dependent student has already taken out their maximum annual unsubsidized loan amount. So yeah, let's go one more line on that one, and then maybe one more, and then I'll bring you guys up. Okay. All right. So this next one, the section also establishes a new annual and aggregate loan limits for borrowers. For example, the section sets an overall aggregate lifetime borrowing limit of $200,000 for any single borrower across federal loan types, except for the federal Direct Plus loans and Parent Plus loans. This section allows IHES to set lower loan limits. Okay. All right. So then they go into the whole repayment. The subtitle reverses loan repayment options for federal student loans. So see, this is, I'll put this link in here if you guys want to go into this even more, but I just wanted you to see that's what's, those are that's within your first, I guess, I don't know what page we're on, but this is just a bit. Okay. I'm going to put it here. Don't worry. Okay. Freedom Smart says, ooh wee. What did you say? Yikes. But you know what? It's so funny. But it's kind of like, okay, so what restrictions are they going to put on the credit card companies that come out there and get those little 18-year-olds to sign up for a Discover card? Oh, yeah, Discover's credit limit. So I'm just wondering, are they going to, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Okay, because it's just it's going to be more bad debt if they're not responsible. Okay, so let's keep going here. All right, so my other section of this that I promised was, okay, so we did talk a little bit about the loan limit. So $200,000 for any single borrower across federal loan types, that's a substantial amount of money. Now, I don't know if you're going to school to major in ice crystals, blowing ice crystals, or basket weaving, underwater basket weaving, or I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. I guess it can get pretty expensive. All right. So, oh my gosh, here, let's talk a little bit more about the loan. Was that loan limits that I said we were going into? Okay, this section eliminates economic hardship and unemployment deferments beginning on July 1 of this year, 2025. It also reduces the total period a borrower may be in forbearance. A borrower who is serving in a medical or dental internship or residency program may be eligible for forbearance in which no interest accrues for the first 4 12-month intervals. However, interest does accrue for any subsequent 12-month interval. This section allows borrowers to rehabilitate a defaulted loan twice, currently only once. However, beginning on July 1, 2025, the borrower must pay a minimum payment of $10. All right, I'm just saying this is there's a lot going on here, and it's to me it's worth it to read it, because it might tell people where they are. You know, it might be applicable to someone. Okay, so the next section I just want to look at here is the 30024. This section allows payments under the new repayment assistance plan to count as qualifying payments for purposes of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness PSLF program. This section also specifies that a public service job for purposes of the PSLF program does not include time served in medical or dental internship or residency program by an individual who, as of June 30th, 2025, has not borrowed a federal direct plus loan or a federal direct unsubsidized Stafford loan. Okay, so this section provides, I guess, the fiscal year 2025, fiscal year 2026 funding to ED for administrative costs. So I'm not going into Pell Grants. The energy part, I would like the energy and commerce. We're not going to do that today, but I will have you guys come up and just, I don't know. There's a lot of student loans out there. Okay. Stray Godzilla 2022. Stray Godzilla 22. I'm sorry. I better get it right. Yes. So yeah, you guys go ahead and drop your links in here. All right. So what I'm going to do, let me see if I can do this anymore. Okay. So let's see if because StreamYard is a game changer. All right. They said they've changed the game. All right. So this is we'll say this is the pendulum. All right. So we're going to try to keep this brief. Let's go. All right. So there's the pendulum there. Yeah, there's a pendulum there. All right. So for those of you that are just now joining us, we started this out just talking about, just want to look at some of these sections in this one big, beautiful bill. And we've talked about, the irony of having, from one party to another, everybody's got a BBB. And to me, it's like undoing the BBB of the last person, to this, you got to upgrade another BBB. But, whatever flavor, people are going to take it based on who's serving it. Okay. It's not what's in it, it's who's serving. I get it. If that's what you're on about, that's it. And you've got to do what speaks to you. Okay. So let me take this out just a second here. All right. Once again, hope you guys are doing well out there. Yeah. So like I said, here again, you get to, I put the link in the stream. If you want to go in here and look at these points, you want to see how fancy they are with all of their AI and how they're accommodating people with text to speech and all that. You can do that. But to me, we already have we laughed and sneered about this during the KJP's serving as the press secretary. And we also kind of laughed about this a few years ago when Kamala Harris was sitting at a table and she goes, "I'm a woman, I'm wearing a blue suit." And I swear at that point, I thought this is a prototype for training, administrative purposes. And then when I go to this, and then when I go back over here and look what we can do, friends, just for kicks and giggles. If you don't want to read this piece where it says Title 4, Energy and Commerce, Subtitle A, Energy, you can just kindly do this. I want you to listen to the language here. She basically kind of introduces herself. Here you go. You guys ready? And 3, 2, 1.
Secretary 41001. This section rescinds the unobligated funds that were provided by the Inflation Reduction Act for various energy programs, such as state-based home energy efficiency contractor training grants, the Advanced Technology Vehicles Manufacturing Loan Program, and the Tribal Energy Loan Guarantee Program.
Okay, so I hit the pause button. Now, do you see? This SEC is actually referring to itself like this text to speech. This AI is referring to it as secretary. Blah 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 blah. So that's a feature on there. Okay, you want to go on there if you want to listen to this thing that's what the feature that they're providing for you with via AI. Okay. So that's what's there for you. But yeah, there's a dictionary entry. There's a ton of things. There's a ton of things there that you could get into. Old Head Deuce is here. So let me just give a shout out to everyone that took the time to come in. And, you know, I'm going to try to re-engage the engagement on this particular channel. So once again, shout out to Derek C. Williams. Thank you, Derek C. Williams. Please drop your link in the stream. And if you're interested in coming up, if you have the time, if you want to share, come on up. RCT, I'm going to drop your link. If you have the time, if you're interested, come on up. Let's see. I know we had Freedom's March is here. Go ahead and drop your link. If you would like to come up, you may do so. Go ahead. Feel free anytime. And let's see. Because I'm not going to stay here long. I just want you to see what's in this. A Stray Godzilla 22. You can drop your link in. It's been a lifetime. I haven't seen you in a while. And yes, shout out to Freedom's March, TDOA. You did have a great show this morning. I've caught up to a couple of streams, and I'm looking forward to catching up to more. I finally got a breather. So, you know, I'm... RCT says the gang's all here. Yeah, it's just like old times. What times are you referring to, Black Spring? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's definitely, it's nice to come back. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a destination, a vacation or something. Like it's kind of nice to visit, you know. But the extended stay, we'll see what we can do on the engagement there. It says Stray Godzilla says, y'all the homies. Oh my gosh, the Freedom's March. We're gonna have to I don't know. There's gonna be, I mentioned this earlier. There's gonna be I'm gonna do another channel, and it might be, I guess, in some ways, it's probably gonna be a little bit academic, but it's gonna be kind of a literature-based ilk. And I'm thinking maybe we'll have to bring Freedom's March up and promote him quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, because I'm basically double fisting books on my summer reading list. I'm reading 2 or 3 books at the same time. And it's like, I have to do that. I have to do. I mean, I'm reading one of the same genre, and then 2 of the same genre, and then 1 is completely different. So, yeah, I gotcha. But that's a whole other channel, and that's, you know, I got the concept, but I'm working on that. Gotcha. Freedom's March. Gotcha for sure. Yeah, but definitely we'll definitely get into some of that. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And I don't know how long these people are going to volley this bill around. But honestly, I think, to me, it kind of makes me think, okay, well, how much actually changes if certain states are already kind of doing their own thing? There's some states that are already, I guess they kind of operate more along the federalist kind of, you know, they're kind of more, that's their, you know, their objective or their goal is to operate more in that way, to manage their systems and their, you know, their government in that way. And I don't know how much, shout out to TDOA. He says, every bill they pass, we pay for. And I haven't even gone into this whole thing, but I see that little section that we had the AI to read. I think maybe that's the point of SOAR, you know, whatever the Musk, you know, the advanced, it rescinds the unobligated funds that were provided by the Inflation Reduction Act. Let's see. I do have a ding. I have a ding. Wow. Welcome. Derek C. Williams. It's nice to see you. Come on in. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Shout out and respect due to Black Spring with Autumn. How you, young lady?
I am hanging around, Derek C. Williams. I'm happy to be here. How are you today?
Yeah, everything all right. They had the day off today. That's all. But with regards to the not just this legislation, but pretty much every since this dude done got in office, everything been turning out just like you said. For what it's worth. I'm sure. Take Trump derangement syndrome off the table. Everybody always use this disclaimer that I detest. I don't agree with everything. No, obviously you don't have to agree with what everybody say, but everybody always opens up with that before they say what they're going to say. I don't come from that. I'm just going to say what I feel. Ever since the dude done got elected for the second time, everything he said that he was going to do, he's done. He just got the Africans from fighting. He just got the Pakistanis and the Indians from fighting. Stock market is soaring. They're trying to get cryptocurrency up and running. The border crossings I'm hearing is in the 90th percentile of not, from people coming over here. People are self-deporting, and you're getting people trying to get the gold card. So businesses are, business and business interests are coming back into America. Just like you said 8 years ago, what do you have to lose? So, as a working person, the only thing I'm really concerned about within this bill is the no tax on overtime and things of that nature. If I guess if I was in a service capacity, I would be gunning for the no tax on tips and things like that. All this stuff is, even if it's just that little bit there, that is much to me, in my opinion, that would be much more than you would have gotten had that woman got in. Because all the time everybody's talking about how bad they don't like Trump, this, that, and the third, but nobody gives you any solutions on the other side. Even with the Doge thing, the dude is trying to save the country money. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around what's the problem with how he's going about doing stuff. I saw in the chat and shout out to your chat and to Freedom's March. We go back a little ways. The only thing I would say, like, if you want to call that bad that he bombed, with Israel's help, bombed Tehran, but that's a military operation as far as I'm concerned. Obama bombed the hell out of people and got the Nobel Peace Prize for it. Biden continued it on. Clinton hit a couple people back in the 90s. So this is not uncommon for presidents to do. But they'll always say the human rights violation. I understand that, but based off the reports we got, these were military installations that were hit. So I'm good with that being ex-military. That's just war for you. But I'm just saying all that just essentially, with in line with the big beautiful bill thing. Everything this guy said thus far has turned to be on the money, and I got what I voted for. So I'm not surprised or disappointed or anything. He's been very transparent. What do you have to lose? So that's pretty much all I want to say right there. And just thank you for having me up.
Absolutely, Derek C. Williams. And I appreciate you for taking the time. And yes, because, it's great to hear from you. It's great to hear your perspective because I have not been on here in a consistent, I haven't been streaming. I really haven't heard a lot from people. You've got the typical, as you stated, the typical derangers. Some of them are still, or they're going to stay in that mode. There's no change in that. Okay. And I have heard, it's either one extreme or the other, I think. And I found some people have come to the middle a little bit. I think I find that some people have softened their position. It's nice to hear.
They have no choice. They have no choice because the results, if you remember 3 months ago, the tariffs are going to destroy this country economically. And the only thing they did was make people, just like he said they were going to do, they're going to come to the table and negotiate fair trade. And that's what it should be about. But once again, you can't tell that to people who just don't like this dude for whatever reason. You can call the dogs, but they're going to have to, by default, they're forced to soften their position because you're seeing results. That's why.
I got you. Well, I'm telling you, to me, it's almost like there's been like so many things that have gone on. To me, like I'm not even sure where we are in terms of the months of the time that he's been in office. It just seems like there was just so many things with like the Musk buzz to me went on for so long. It was like fatigue. Like I'm fatigued about, I just got fatigued like right away. And I can see things that he said he's going to do that he's done. And I can see more of that. But I can see, but but for how long? Because I find that these terms are limited to 2 years. I find that they spend most of the time, these presidencies, they spend 2 years undoing the last administration, and then the next 2 years it's campaign time again. So that's where I just don't find that they get that there's much time in these positions, and so we'll just see. I mean, I just kind of like sit back and just kind of watch and just see. I just find that so much of this stuff is scripted, and so many of these relationships. Like I thought that the whole Musk thing. I'm like, okay, I don't know how long this is going to last, but apparently the honeymoon is over on that end. I mean, well, for whatever the role is, I find that I find that the guy was a globalist anyway, and to me, some of his agendas are consistent with to me, almost WEF. So I just, I don't know. There's a lot going on there.
Well, they do. Well, what do they say? The old adage, politics makes strange bedfellows. I would just say, until he's with the whole Doge thing. If you go to right now, I think they still should have it up, but they have a running debt clock for the Federal Reserve. Like we 36 trillion in debt. Well, they just added a feature on that debt clock, how much Doge is actually saving the country in real time. So while all those numbers are going up for how much each, and obviously they have it broken down even to my daughter, even an infant, they have it broken down to how much each American owes the federal government. Well, they have a thing that's running in there showing all the money that Doge is allegedly saving. But that's still a good thing. I would say until Musk was to actually show his hand that he's World Economic Forum, if he's a lackey through and through, I think Trump would have cut him loose. But when they fell out a couple of weeks ago, something he said that made me think that all this is the fact that Trump didn't move the way he wanted him to move. Because he said, and Musk has not said anything contrary, he said that he knew the bill inside and out. He knew it better than the people who drafted it. So if it wasn't a problem then, why is it a problem now?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I see it.
One of them lying. One of them is lying.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And I also see that in terms of, I mean, I see some of his other work. I think I've seen I see the agenda in the Doge perspective, but I also see that the energy piece, that was important to, I think, his gains, and to to his sustainability. And he has a lot of projects to me that are very close, that look very similar to there's out here, we call it skill Kates a lot. I mean, I see, to me, some of these people, it's just such a fine line between, when I see these people, when I see some of the same ilk rubbing shoulders, I'm like, okay, I don't know how much this is looking more like him, or he's got his own brand, and I'm not, that concerns me when it starts to look like somebody else that I don't really co-sign with, and I'm thinking, I'm not sure what this guy's agenda is, and but I just kind of wait and see. I don't know.
That's pretty much in my mind. That's pretty much what all of this, because just what you said a second ago about undoing what the previous administration did. All this stuff is political, because and the thing is that the average American does not have the foresight to understand that it is a process. When you say he was going to come in day one and change things, you have people, because if you can just a cursory look at CNN or just TV, or even people I work with, they really are of the opinion that the dude could just snap his finger and make everything better. It don't work like that. The same thing on, like, obviously, I lost all those channels for talking about that poison gene editing therapeutic that ain't a vaccine. Many people in the health space feel that, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. could just come right in and take the fluoride out of the water, stop the chemtrails, or stop them from spraying and all these. It don't work like that. It take a minute. So you hopefully anything that they get done would be a plus. And again, I go back to had that woman won. Will we even be talking about stuff that's going to help the country? I don't think so. So anything this dude able to get through in the little time he got, you have to salute that. You guys to. If you don't, you just wishing for the country and for your children or people you know to fall. The man, the boy trying to do, him and Kennedy, they both trying to make a difference from what I see. Until I'm proven wrong.
I got you. Well, I mean, I appreciate you so much for coming up. And like I said, this is the biggest dive that I've done into this because I really had to pull back Derek C. Williams because of there was an amount of fatigue. I was fatigued from the system, from this platform and their practices. And then I was also fatigued I was just wondering, was the censorship going to, I think the censorship has stayed the same, vastly the same. Like, I don't think that they've let up. I don't think that that's changed. Like, they've added more. I think they've added more guardrails and they're more manipulative. Whatever settings that they have set up, they're going to continue to silence, but I'm going to continue to come out whenever I want. And
even with him, he's the health range of Mike Adams from Natural News, Trump, Ty and Charlene Bollinger. There's a bunch of Luke Radowski, a ton of people that was on YouTube and was taken off around the time of the pandemic. I got swept up into all of that too. But I named these people because they're currently suing the tech companies. So so clearly that censorship thing is still afoot. But once again, that's political too. Because again, I work with people in my medical facility that they was really under this false notion that on November 6th, he was going to literally turn everything around. It don't work like that, man. It's negotiations, it's give and take, and trade-offs and things like that, But clearly it's still censorship. So it's and that's kind of like in line with a comment that Freedom's Martin said down in the chat. I typed his name into YouTube like maybe a year before last. Couldn't find nothing. So I thought he quit making videos. Well, now I know he do, But I do remember. But I do have to say, I think one time you had said something about Freedom's March going live, and I said, well, where? Because when I typed the name in, I ain't get nothing. But before I lost my channel, he was always saying he was getting shadow banned, and I really didn't understand what shadow ban meant at first. So I went to go look into it, and then I say, oh, okay. Cause it's definitely happening to me now. Cause I put out a video. I did a little video the other day, and nothing. Don't get nothing. I know you ain't.
I haven't seen not one notification. So are you still under the same name? Let me see. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I ain't never changing. I was born Derek C. Williams. I'm a dot Derek C. Williams. So yeah, So when I typed his name in, I thought he had quit because it's this other content creator that all this was good with. He don't really put out nothing, and I'm saying all that for this reason. I told another content creator out of Michigan, this ain't the good old days of 2019, 2020, 2021. It's just not. And people have gone to TikTok, Rumble, all these other platforms as opposed to this one, And like I was, even before they took my first one, I would always say that when they put these censors on you, you by default kind of sort of self-censor. You don't really speak your mind. And especially after this thing then started, I didn't have, at least 5 moderators that I had an issue after they took that damn poison shot, but was scared to even put it on video because they told me they're going to lose their channel. It's not your channel if they can take it. So right. you better off just saying what need to be said and quit being scared. But that just to me, it was a learning lesson for me because everybody talk tough. When it's come time to talk and stand up for something for real, ain't nobody rapping. when it's really time to put skin in the game. Because I know personally some people on YouTube, and one lady's child. This girl had a stroke at 27 years old. Wouldn't go on YouTube and say nothing about it. And they know where it come from. So it's not really your channel. But nonetheless, this ain't the good old days no more. And I understand why people aren't really putting out stuff like that. I just use it basically for the music. I'm from the '80s. I'm real hip hop, so I'm listening at that. Not none of this nonsense that's coming out today. So it's good for that, and that's it. So, but but I want to thank you for having me up, and I'll see you around YouTube. All right.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Derek. And I'll be looking for you. And please drop your link in. Everyone, please drop your links in the stream, because Derek, I will certainly continue to. I mean, we need that nourishment. We need that nurturing. So please, I'll reciprocate, and I will, and I'm happy to hear your voice and that you're still out there.
Yeah. Well, if something hit me, I will. I wanted to. I did want to do. Well, I can say it here. I did want to do a video about this idiot Ketanji Brown in the Supreme Court. Not only can she not define what a woman is, apparently she does not even want to read her own legal documents and things like that. And you have one justice airing her out publicly. It just, I'm saying that for this reason. We always talk about, the black woman, the queens, this, that, and the third. But I've been noticing the past year, I would say probably last 18 months, black women are making the news for all the wrong reasons. But you can't. But that's enough. The gender war. That's for another day. But thank you for having me on your channel. I'll see you around YouTube. All right. And I put my link in again. All right.
All right. Perfect. Thanks so much, Derek. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You take care. Salute.
Thanks so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek C. Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek C. Williams. As I've said to Derek just now, I have not been, honestly, to me, the trust from 2019 to the present, I would not return to, to me, I'm a bit of a cynic, but I also just don't, to me, we have a lot of people, we have people that are on the stage. We have one person says they represent this party, one person says that they represent that party. And I just don't see, at the end of the day, where are we? Where are we? And I just think because of all of the things that are some of the most pivotal things that happened in 2020, there's just no turning back from that. And to Derek C. Williams's point, nobody's going to come in and snap their fingers and do anything. No. And I think that's where a lot of people I've seen things where people talked about buyer's remorse. Oh, they feel like they were duped, blah, 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 blah. But what was the buy-in? I mean, do they have rose-colored glasses on? I don't know. But what I do know is that I just have to kind of, when I look at this, kind of from a spiritual place, and just from what I'm saying, that to me, these people, most of them cannot be trusted. And it's going to fall where it is. I mean, you just have to make sure that you're doing what you can do for the best outcomes. Is what you can do. What's best to be done. But it's just, I don't really, to me, I really see something that, to me, for people to assume, I don't know if not everybody assumes this, but I just think you got a lot of the same players a lot of the same players are just in different places right now when it comes to government and what happened in 2020. That was just 5 years ago, but the damage to me from that is going to go for so many more years. It's going to the emotional damage from 2020 from CV19 will never. And I'm speaking in absolute deliberately. I'm speaking in absolutes because that people will never recover from the things that happened in 2019, whether it be emotional damage, financial damage, the psychological damage. You might lump that in with the emotional damage, even maybe some spiritual damage. But people are not going to get past. To me, it's just. And to me, it's even hard to talk about because it's like, to me, after everything that happened, it still seems that the country is very fickle. Their memory is so freaking fickle that they just don't remember what all we went through. And we are the survivors. But when the next round comes around, to me, is what's most important. You got to be ready for the next round. Because I think it's not going to, I think, we talked about yesterday about the U.S. being the capital, the CANCER capital of the world. And I think there's probably a whole nother agenda behind that. What's different, the tracking and tracing that they did back in 2020, I think that could be, I think they could try it. They're already doing that. They already do that when it comes to CANCER. They already have a track, trace, and treat. And then now they throw in this equity thing. And we want to make sure that everybody, and this is our humanitarian duty. And when they start that language again, to me, that medical tyranny, to me, could very well be, they could be doing it in a covert manner, or they could very well be doing it. It could be done by coercion. I don't think we're not that far off. I don't think we're far off from any type of tyranny, just based on what we saw the last time. I don't think we can get comfortable. I really don't. I don't think we can really go back to, there's no going back, to me. So that's, that's kind of my shtick on that. But I wanted to share that bill, share portions of that bill. Like I said, it wasn't my goal or my objective to read this whole thing or to have the text to speech read it or the AI read it to you. I just wanted you to see that, there are some things in that original document or the original publishing of it. And who knows how long this could go on. A lot of this kind of makes me wonder about the Paris Accord, when they start talking about, we're going to do this and all these energy projects. And, to me, how, like, they just kind of recoin everything, like the Green New Deal. Like, to me, this reeks Green New Deal a little bit. It reeks Paris Accord a little bit. It just keeps on reeking. It's an iteration. Everything seems to be an iteration of the previous thing. Everything seems to be an iteration of the previous thing. Okay. Well, we're going to call it something. We're going to package it like this. Let's see if we can sell it like this. But I think when it came to modifications, whether it was on gas stoves and all these things, I don't know. I had a friend that's actually an engineer, and I think he said that people weren't buying into. You're not going to be able to be successful with the agendas or the agenda that they put out with a lot of this energy converting energy and changing the way people are, heating it or managing or cooking their own food in their own home. So there's a lot out there. We'll see what gets actually passed. I'm probably going to look through this bill again myself. And so I'm going to look through it myself. You guys have a lot going on. A lot going on here for sure. And there's a lot there's I'm just saying, we'll see. I've just been so exhausted from, like I said, and I had to take a little break. But now that I'm back, we'll see what goes on. And probably, I don't know, I guess when it gets approved or before it gets approved, or maybe whenever the vote comes out, we'll probably revisit this one again. All right, guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Derek C. Williams, thank you so much for coming up. And please, if you have not dropped your link in the stream, go ahead and do that. And certainly, like I said, I agree with you guys. I don't really trust the big G. I don't. Yeah, I don't. Not for 1 second. And as I said, I'm pretty much done. I'm just, we got to hold on. We got to hold on to something else, because that's not quite it. We just have to hope that we have to just kind of hang on and just watch and observe. And you see how things keep turning and changing. But again, I don't deny that I think a lot of things are pretty much scripted, and I think people are playing a role until their time is up. And then the next person steps in, and that's how it goes. All right, guys. So leave any comments in the comment section. And I will see you guys again on the next stream. Have a great rest of your afternoon. If anything else comes out with this, if there are any developments with this, I may come back later. Okay, guys. All right, Derek C. Williams. Is all government is dog's hind legs. Freedom Smart says Trump is not interested in pushing freedoms, thus I ain't rocking. I got you guys. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next stream.